Okay.
Okay.
Checking the valves to make sure the gate valves
And
work.
you're turning them, you know, and
Mhm.
yes, this one works, or we're having a problem with this one.
Well, finding them is the problem. Most of them are 4 feet under the ground and you don't know where they are until you find them with a metal detector. So,
That's just, and then I think the only other thing is, and this ties in with Harley, is everybody in the trailer park being charged for their water?
As far as I
know.
Okay,
I mean,
okay, every resident, you're going
Mhm.
such and such resident, okay.
Well, I have to go through each one of those because we've had so many issues with that thing and I don't want to send Harley anything that's screwed up, so I literally go through everybody's bill and make sure,
okay.
reading, and make sure that all the radio reads read and all the, I mean, I do the manual ones, and that's why I like his. I've got to check, because if you're actually seeing 7,000 gallons on your meter, then it's not reading properly, because I mean, I don't know if it rounds one way or the other, but it's like 2,000 to 3,000 gallons pretty well for everybody in town.
Yeah.
That's what I've been getting. Some people are more, like my house had a leak, so it was like 7,000 gallons.
Okay,
Yeah.
I had to clarify this when I was Public Works Director. If your meter goes bad, it will never increase your
Okay.
reads.
Right.
Which basically, when your meter goes bad, it basically stops reading. It will not increase the read.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
basically, you could have used 6,000 gallons of water and your meter showed you only used 1,000.
Right. Right. That's where
And
I'm wondering if.
These meters, when you do your billing, they bill per 1,000.
Yeah.
So
That's
if
it.
you've used, when you take your read and you've used 1,999 gallons on that read, you're only charged for 1,000 gallons.
Yep. That's how they.
And that's how a lot of people get, well, how come
Next
this month I got charged? Well, that's because after they read the meter, you flushed the toilet, now you kicked over, so you're automatically charged. You're starting out the new read automatically for an extra 1,000 gallons.
Mhm.
And I know I've had to pound this into a lot of people's heads. They just don't get this. They don't round up. The meters, you never read, when you read the meters, they're charged per 1,000.
Okay.
So until you kick over that 1,000,
Yeah.
it will not bill you for that read.
Yeah, that's how they read. Like when I walk up and read them, if it was 7/12 last month, it'll say 7/13 this month, and it could be right at the cusp of being over that 1,000
And
for
within
the
an hour or
next
two,
one.
they
Yeah.
can be automatically kick it over. Exactly.
Talking with Core and Main about those master meters, because we do have in the radio reads there are like I think 12 or 14 that don't read, and he said if they're under 10 years old they get a full replacement. If they're under 15 years old they get a percentage off. That's what the warranty on those. So if we have any, I mean those ones that don't read, there's a pretty good chance we can get them replaced for
If you're
free.
not reading, get them replaced.
Yeah.
You've still got the computer system, again,
His is a manual read, so we'll just replace his meter altogether with a radio anyways.
you do know on the radio reads that you can go in and do backlog checks on them, right?
On,
The radio reads.
no, that was not something that guy that came and trained me on that was.
Under the radio reads with our laptop system that we had just gotten into,
Mhm. I'm
and
sure
stuff
it's the
like
same
that,
one.
you can do a data log.
Oh, yeah, no, it's on there for data logging. I can set it to track certain ones.
No, you can go into any radio read meter
Read it right
and
down
you
to
can
the
pick a
hour.
month. And you can
Okay.
tell that user how many gallons he used every
Oh.
hour of every day for a month,
Okay.
or longer.
I haven't messed around with that too much. He said that you pretty well never have to mess with anything like that,
Well,
but.
it can come in handy, because I've had several people do the same.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's
You need
exactly
to have
the
that
same.
checked out. Okay?
Other than that, we're trying to get the basketball court and everything taken care of over there. We got some down trees, limbs over at the park. We're gonna have that cleaned up tomorrow. And I cut some down over here at the basketball court today.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, they're terrible. We're gonna
It's-
try to get that place cleaned up.
Well,
All of it.
if the trees can be trimmed, I do have, I'll talk about it at the other deal, but if the trees can be trimmed, that'd be helpful.
Oh,
It's-
we have volunteers in April are coming I will make sure the date, I think it's the 20th.
If you let me know ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
we can kind of direct them in some of the park area with some help probably, if you want,
They're
and,
coming to do the bleachers and paint the dugouts and clean up around the softball field.
Okay.
They wanted something they could get done in 3 hours, and I mean, I had something that did take them 3 months to get done. So.
okay, I'll contact you on Monday, because the paint is from the volunteer, it is from the improvement committee.
Okay.
But it's stored at the shop, and I'll show you where it's at.
Yeah, it's
Okay?
at probably the barn red, the bucket of barn red that's
Well,
in there.
there's
and-
some of it's kind of picky, but I'll talk to you.
Yeah, that's
another
fine.
time. Okay.
But I thought that would be great. They're gonna try to get like 10 people to come and help do that.
Okay, no, I'll make, if I have to take time off,
All
I'll
you
be
gotta
there.
do is let me know. The softball team has always volunteered to help clean up.
Okay.
We put the roof
Yeah.
on the concession.
It's
last year.
I'll get the date for sure. I think it's April 20th or the next. Where's my phone?
It's April 20th.
I know, right?
It's
That's
billiards.
So, and my, deal is you're going to the school in Billings, not the one in Great Falls?
I'm not going to the one in Great Falls. They didn't tell me that was a school. It says on the thing that it's a conference, and I asked them about it, and they're like, "No, it's
Oh,
whatever
no,
it says."
you had to click on the deal.
Well, it's on their silly calendar they hand out, and it's
Yeah.
just on there as a conference.
Next time, just a recommendation, next time is
Mhm.
touch base with your guys in Joliet, or touch base with your guys in
Well,
Bridget.
yeah, Randy Novakovich was the one that finally told me that it would have been a better one to go to than the one in Billings.
I would highly recommend that you go to the Great Falls one. I went every year.
Yeah,
We already missed it.
and
No, it's
it's,
next week.
Yeah, it's next
yeah,
week,
but he
but I,
missed the
He
deadline.
missed his deadline.
Yeah,
And
I
that's-
did.
Yeah.
That is
that's-
something for future reference. I would highly recommend that you go to the Great Falls Conference. It is a conference,
yeah.
but
They do the
there's
testing there,
3 or 4 days of
classes.
different classes that you can go to. First of all, you're gonna need those classes,
Yeah,
because when you take
You
your
need your
test,
CE hours.
you need the CE hours,
right, okay,
and you'll get those by going to those classes.
okay,
Not to mention the fact that all the vendors are there,
right. Yeah,
And you
Chad was
get-
the one that told me about
you
that.
get all of, well, you find out the stuff that's coming out.
Sure.
For sometimes you need replacement stuff and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, any of that information would
Not
have
to
been great
mention
to have.
all the goodies they give out.
If I'd have known prior to the meeting, cause I did call Harley, and if I'd have known, you know.
Yeah, she called me and she says, "When are you going to the
Yeah.
spring water school?" And I said, "Well, it's on their DQ's calendar for in Billings in May."
Yeah.
So I
and-
did, or it's actually says it's in Lewistown,
Well,
so I don't know as if it's in Billings.
it's the ones in Billings that I seen, maybe there's one in
And
Lewistown.
that's when you're gonna take your test.
But, put it on your, you got a calendar that pops up on your computer?
Mhm.
Because this has always been Great Falls, I mean,
Yeah.
ever since I lived
Yeah.
here, for every city man.
It's the same.
So put it on for February to get registration in.
Yeah, if I would have known that that was what I needed to go to, I would really actually would have.
Yeah, it's something you should go
Yeah,
to.
and I'm sorry you missed it, because
too.
it's way helpful compared to the other one.
Yeah, Randy and Dale and them guys in Bridger have been really great about giving me study material for it, for all the water tests, so
Yeah,
I've been
but
doing that.
it's-
yeah. Seems like the wastewater is gonna be the one that sucks, so.
I guess the only other thing, I did have some comments, some guys had some comments up the street. If the day before a street's gonna be shut down, if it could be put out on Facebook, kind of for, so people planning on traveling wise, and maybe, road signage, you know. Like when the gravel got dumped down there and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, well, I tried to leave that to where they could get it out.
Well, I
you know.
understand, but just for safety.
Sure.
I mean, we got people that are new in town that aren't familiar, and it's a liability for us.
Sure.
Just something to think about.
What happens if you don't have Facebook? Is,
Yeah,
That's
it.
the other thing, it's gotta be, if it can be posted at the post office or something, we're gonna be shutting down this street. And that's about all we can do at that point, other than put road signage out.
is the
But-
Facebook page public, so if somebody doesn't have Facebook, they can still look?
Yes.
It should be.
It should be public.
At the
Mhm.
school.
But we also have posting at the post office, and we should have posting out here.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a big hole going on the backside of the school, and
Yeah.
I'm afraid Wild Bill's gonna bounce a bus through it here pretty soon.
I'll go fill it.
Can you go
I
fill
was
it
told
with gravel or
it's the
whatever?
county's. I was told it was the county by Jay, and if I go up and fill it, then I'm always gonna have to fill it because the county will quit taking care of it.
I have,
And at this point,
Chris,
I don't
just-
care. I'll just
has
fill it.
anybody
Scott.
called,
Call Scott.
Yeah.
call Scott Blaine?
Yeah, I'll call Scott Blaine. I have his cell phone number, so I'll call him. Yep, tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Visit with them because yeah, I'm afraid that we're just gonna bounce and bend a rim on that
Yeah, I
on
don't
a school
mind
bus. Yeah.
just filling it up. I mean,
for now until we could. Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
too.
because I ran my company car through it and I go, oh no.
my concern is people coming around that corner in the wrong lane.
Well, then that's
Because
just it, and I
that's-
move over, but I go really slow and watch.
Yeah.
She done now?
I think we should be, the only other thing, sewer lines jetted. Do we have a schedule for that?
Yeah, the plan is to get them all run through. True Pipe sent me a quote that's good for 90 days.
Okay.
But they suggested waiting till after the spring.
Okay,
after
no,
the
no,
rain.
I'm just
Or-
trying to touch bases at
Does-
stuff that people has asked me, and they're
Does
like,
Bridger still have their jetter truck?
Yes.
Yes, actually, yeah, we could do that. I mean,
That's, we used to do that ourselves every
Okay.
year.
and it
And we-
saves a ton of money.
is their jetter truck big enough? Or is it you're just talking about that jet vac, or do they have an actual jetter truck?
They had an actual jetter.
Okay, because then we do actually have that camera that we can camera them all too, if we'd like. I mean, we own it. We just allow you to use it.
We used to jet them all the time.
Okay. Yeah, the guys from True
Just-
Pipe suggested
pick
waiting
your-
till.
Just pick sections at a time and jet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't try to do it all in one day, cause you won't.
No. Start at the top, work your way down.
Alright,
But-
anything else for Mark?
No, that's it, sorry.
Other than that, when can we discuss asphalt and fixing these streets? Because it's not, I mean, I can go fill them with gravel, but in a week it'll be right back. I'm all for cutting them out and filling them, packing them, doing them the right way.
I'd say
Um,
bring in some bids on everything.
Why don't you
Is-
find out what, either you can get cold mix or tailings,
Okay.
get a price on that.
It's 68 a ton for hot mix.
You don't wanna go hot mix unless you're gonna have all your holes prepped.
I know, I'm
Hot
talking,
mix is
I'd
the way
like
to go,
to
don't trust me, but.
pave over whole sections of roads, not just filling potholes. I mean, I'm talking like down there on East River, or West River, what is it?
East
No, it's East
River.
River, yeah, right by your, the gate to go up to the sewer place.
Where they
I
dug
mean-
out for the
Yeah,
sewage leak.
Mm-hmm.
I can patch over that, but it'd be nice to cut, you know, most of that lane out and just repave the whole thing. So that way
Isn't
you don't
that-
have huge humps or big holes or.
Isn't that county?
No,
That
No.
street isn't county, cause they plow it, so that's why I'm,
okay, they plow it because
They started doing that
Nate
one.
and I took donuts over to them one morning,
Well, on the bus
And
needs to
they-
get through too.
and
Yeah.
they've been doing it ever since.
okay, okay.
He, as a courtesy, when he goes down the
It's gonna be
street,
back.
He just drops his plow.
he just drops his
Yeah.
plow as a courtesy.
Okay.
By the train tracks, I'd like to do that too.
And that street was repaved after the bridge project, it was split between the town and the county.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be great if I coordinate with the county, because I mean, like, we don't have a roller, I mean, we got a blade, we could lay the hot mix in with the blade, but how am I gonna pack it?
Well,
Is
that's,
that plate packer?
The last patch we did didn't, it got holes from a semi truck because it wasn't packed to compression.
That's what I mean, like, I can't plate pack it because it's not heavy enough. I mean, plate
You can't-
packing works.
you can't
No, but
plate whack.
Bridger's got a roller.
Yeah.
I
You
mean, the
can't
towns
plate
used to
whack. Yeah, I
all
know.
work together.
Well-
Joliet and Bridger would have, everybody helped everybody.
Have
do
to
it.
rent a trailer to get
that's,
that roller.
that's
unless
how
they
we
have
did
one.
the one deal, interlocal agreement
Yeah,
through
we're
the
part of
one
that
deal.
Yorkshire joint.
So,
Okay.
but
Lakes and Cove.
didn't Chad just say, didn't you say you did streets on this grant type deal? Or whatever?
Well,
No,
and then-
so the 355 money is a lot of our clients are using it in combination with the, when they redid the fuel tax and the Barca money. And I don't have that with me to look at the amount, but last August or September, you should have got a bunch of money dumped into your account. where they cleared out all your, gas tax money, and it has to be spent on streets.
Yeah.
And so, some are combining the 355 to make a bigger street project. And I know you guys were aware, because I was at a council meeting where you talked about the gas tax money last fall or summer.
Did Tim ever say anything? Cause nothing got brought to us.
Well, you guys, or not you guys,
Would've
because
been-
you weren't on the council yet, but the council members decided to continue up East River, right?
Westward.
West River.
So is that in on 355 for that?
Well, you decided, because you went and looked at the HB 355 and said we weren't in compliance, so we weren't.
No, that was on the parks. That is strictly on the parks money for that 25,000, Harley.
Yeah.
I'm
that
not
is-
talking about the 25,000, I'm talking about the HB 355.
355, I know.
Right.
We were talking about doing the HB 355 with the park. And me and Nate took over the park part of it. We did not take over the rest of it. It was just the park part of it. We decided we did not want to invest the 25,000 into that grant. Because we get a lot of ours through in-kind. And we can't cover that with 355. Ours is strictly the park. Didn't you understand that, Nate, as that we were strictly doing the park? We weren't doing the street, we weren't doing the building.
Yeah.
What
That
was
was-
allocated, what she brought up was the gas tax money from before, but what
Yeah.
he just brought up, I don't think a lot of us were aware of. But, I mean, the project was already selected, but
So the projects for 355, you had to have, every community had to have a list by the end of December. So
Okay,
that had, the list of projects had to be done, then you're supposed to have a public hearing on them, prioritize them, and the grant applications are due March 30th.
Okay.
So,
We've talked about this, that's
I
when you
submitted
went back and you were
Yeah.
looking through it and it said we had to be in compliance
Yeah.
and we weren't.
yeah, but it was just for our part on the parks. It's nothing on the rest of what you guys were talking about. Well, I don't have that decision. I can't make that decision.
Yeah.
It was just for the
Some
parks.
figuring,
Yeah,
do some measurements
So,
of what you wanna cut out.
there's a couple of streets that just need to be repaved.
Well, as far as going for streets and stuff, I understand that, that's just not something feasible. But some of these that we can repair,
The
kind
worst
of,
ones.
you know, the worst ones, do measurements and tell me how much,
One of them, but.
and bring up how much, you're going to need.
Yeah.
And then I would see about getting with, Bridge or something and see
Sure.
about getting the roller and stuff.
Absolutely,
yeah, we're part of that deal, we're insured jointly with equipment, so.
we should, we gave it to them.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Alrighty,
the
so
roller
next-
used to belong to Farmberg.
I
Shirley
Next
Miller
slide.
They
gave,
should let
she
us borrow
gave
it.
she gave it basically to,
Next line item is for mayor and council. Council, is there anything you'd like to bring up that was not brought up previously? Feel there's a lot of good
Just-
points brought up today throughout the meetings.
Yeah, I do have one kind of point. Like tonight, the meeting had to be moved because of a clerical error on the dates and everything, and the other clerical errors. And I guess this is what I was talking to you about before, my concern about stepping in as the floodplain administrator of getting too much on your plate. Not that you can't do the job, but you're still learning the Black Mountain stuff, and you're still learning all this stuff. And I guess my concern is, Tim had brought it up several meetings ago about the distractions, that you were being distracted a lot. People coming in and wanting to talk, and all stuff like this. And I guess my concern on that one is distraction is, and don't take this the wrong way, but I feel that part of your distraction is your baby
Hey,
in the office.
if this job paid enough for me to put her in daycare where I can make something, I would do it.
Well,
But I barely scrape by on my wages right now to be able to do it.
Let's try to keep personal out of this and
I have something to say on that.
you can't comment at this time. Sorry.
Well, as I understand it, police department up there in Red Lodge, they got girls there working with their kids.
Not in the police department.
Yes, there
What,
are.
what department?
In the police department? Oh, in the police department, Red
What
Lodge Town?
department?
There are two babies in that office, and there's also 2 babies in the county office as well.
Well, I do know I worked at a school and they had to provide daycare, they could not have them, because it was,
She's not working for the
it
school.
was, my only deal, and the only thing I have to add to this is, when you do your job one-handed, you do not do the same job that you would do regularly.
And that is something that you guys are more than welcome to vote on at the next meeting.
Can I ask what happened to the little girl that was helping you?
We're not gonna comment on that right now.
Lacey, is that her name?
Yeah, but we aren't gonna bring personal stuff into this.
Okay, so anything else?
I just wanna know what happened to that.
I guess. Anything else, guys?
Apparently it's a touchy subject, huh?
Okay, so next is motion to adjourn. The next meeting will be April 8th. Have a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Okay.
Who motioned that?
Tammy.
Tammy, so George?
Mikey second.
Yes.
Thank you.
I didn't go home and go to bed, I have to go
Where is your meter at? In your basement, is it like easy to get to?
The manual meter?
Yeah, the meter, cause I have.
The one that's on the side of the house.